yours. Judge Sakai and commissioners, it's always an honor to address the court today. For those who don't know me, I'm Kyle Sinclair. I'm a resident of San Antonio since 2009. I'm also the former Republican nominee for U.S. Congress 20th District in 2022, and I'm currently the vice chair for the Republican Party of Bexar County. So I'm also here to speak on number 66 from the meeting agenda, and the vote today in Bexar County Commissioners Court is on taxpayer funds to be used to print, quote, to print and mail state voter registration forms with postage paid returned envelopes to unregistered voters in locations based on targeting by the county to include the data reporting the amount of $392,700 on a discretionary exemption basis in accordance with Texas Code 262.024. In an effort of rereading that, there's a couple questions I have right off the bat is who is the county targeting? Is CGS or Civitech setting the targeting parameters that will be agreed upon by the county? Is it going to be a Democratic voters only? Is Civitech going to get any of the data from CGS? And is Civitech going to give the Republican Party the respective data as well? And last meeting, Commissioners Rodriguez and Calvert both stated that there's nothing partisan about voter registration. I beg to differ because voter registration most certainly can be done in a partisan manner, especially if the company or the individuals themselves are partisan. And so my goal today is to point out emphatically, in particular, Jeremy Smith, the co-founder of CGS, and Civitech is extremely partisan, deceptive in his intent, and therefore CGS is not a partisan organization, and taxpayer funds should not be used. But if granted, the data he collects from CGS will be used by Civitech, which is an extremely partisan organization. So let's take a look at the company. The court wants to grant nearly $400,000 of taxpayer money to pre-fill 220,000 Bexar County voter registration forms for a 2022 election. But in addition, CGS claims they can register over 15,000 new move-ins per quarter of unregistered voters in Bexar County for future elections. They've been called Civic Government Solutions LLC, or CGS for short. And I want to thank a well-documented recent article investigated and reported by Ian Camacho that was broke in Texas Scorecard that broke on July 31st, that we now CGS is a Democratic front and a hyper-partisan organization. In the article, Mr. Camacho states that the Texas Comptroller's public reports, which I have exhibits, so CGS founder, CEO, Director Jeremy Smith, along with the Director Dan Graham and COO Sarah Jackal, hold these same titles with a company called Civitech, which is the parent company of CGS, as well as CIVIGIS.com, domain info registered contact to Civitech as well. These individuals' LinkedIn activities and Civitech's own website demonstrate overtly pro-democratic and anti-basis. I'm going to give some quotes actually from their personal website, Civitech's website. The bottom line is clear. Democrats need to ramp up their voter registration efforts to win in 2024, close quote. Here's another quote. Democrats must enhance their registration efforts, focusing on early campaigns to boost turnout, end quote. Here's another one. As we approach the 2024 election, the Democratic Party faces a significant challenge, a substantial gap of voter registration compared to conservatives. This disparity is even more concerning given that since the 2020 election, there has been a significant gain in the number of registration Republicans over the Democrats. Still, there's a ray of hope. Registering the unregistered likely Democratic voters across the nation could be the key to securing Democratic victory in 2024. I'm going to repeat that last sentence. Registering the unregistered likely Democratic voters across the nation could be a key to Democratic victory in 2024. Extreme partisan. But who is the founder of Civitech and CGS? Mr. Jeremy Smith himself. Let me share a couple quotes from him. Newsroots Nation, August 20 of 2022. Civitech provides a tool to register voters, recruit candidates, and help Democratic and progressive candidates win elections, close quote. Here's another one. Freedom over fascism on June 2024, literally 3 months ago. Civitech identifies tools for activists and candidates to be able to reach persuadable and agreeable-based Democratic voters in ways we are not doing this right now. And here's my favorite one, which is in Vanderbilt, March 21st of 2023, from Jeremy Smith, the founder and co-founder of both these organizations. There are a ton of people who have a prior history of voting Democratic in other states, who have moved somewhere but did not register to vote, did not vote elsewhere, and could have swung the state for us, Democrats. Then we build systems on how to try to reach them. We mail them the form with a prepaid, pre-addressed return envelopes that goes right back to their county and is trackable. So not only can we track it by case, so we can call people, follow up at the doors, we can see how many of them registered, how many of them turned out to vote. The data is used to embed messages, canvassing mailers, text campaigns, and look at anyone who might be on our side. Let me reread what number 66 has to say, which is extremely interesting to me. Civic Government Solutions, LLC, to print and mail state voter registration forms with postage paid return envelopes to unregistered voters in locations targeted based on targeting agreed by the county. Sounds extremely familiar with what the county is proceeding to do. But in conclusion, CGS software might be a sole source due to secretive processes, but what is not secretive is Mr. Smith or Civitech's intention on what he gains from CGS getting this bid and money, and what they will do with the nonpartisan tax funds and nonpartisan data, and are not secretive anymore. He's told all of us loud and clear today, without even having to say a single thing, of what this organization will do. The problem is not that Mr. Smith is partisan, or even Civitech is partisan. The problem is that Mr. Smith and CGS is blatantly misleading the court and Bexar County taxpayers to use nearly $400,000 of Bexar County funds to register nearly 220,000 voters with pre-filled forms. To track the data that CGS will be used in Civitech, so Civitech can provide accurate data, embedded messages, accurate canvassing, accurate mailers, and text campaigns to get progressive Democratic candidates elected in the current 2024 election and future Bexar County elections, as Mr. Smith himself has stated. So I strongly urge each of you, commissioners and judges, to reconsider your votes. Follow the Texas election codes. Keep our tax dollars out of partisan election registration. Leave it to the respective party of the Republican and Bexar County and Democrat parties in Bexar County. Therefore, I pray that all of you here today will join Commissioner Moody and vote no to number 66. I also admonish that you listen to your duly sworn in and appointed election administrator, who also came forth before the court and had issues with this. And with that, I appreciate everybody's time.
Thank you. Let me have the Honorable Francisco Canseco. Kiko.